Hi, everyone. My name is Cindy, and I'm the volunteer coordinator and fundraising coordinator at Blossom Birth and Family. I joined Blossom in 2018, and I'm here today to introduce you to Marti Foster, who is a renowned educator and master yoga teacher. She specializes in women's health and empowerment. Blossom is really excited that Marti is teaching prenatal and postnatal yoga virtually for us, and we are truly grateful that she's accepted our invitation to facilitate our very first menopause workshop. So, welcome, Marti. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited about this conversation.
Yes, I am too. Before I begin, just a note to our viewers. Thank you so much for watching today. This is actually a live interview format between Marti and I, so we hope that this talk will actually address the most common questions you may have about why is Blossom hosting a menopause workshop. However, if after this interview you have any questions or comments after Facebook Live, then Marti is happy to take them. And the best way will be to email her directly. I think soon that you will see in the comments area Marti's email address, which is Marti with an I, C Foster at yahoo.com. So I guess we'll begin. And if you are watching us today and you're an existing Blossom client with a newborn or toddlers, or even if you're actually unfamiliar with what we do, we thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to talk about what Blossom's mission actually is. And so I've asked Marti to read that for us kindly, please.
Yeah, it's my honor. So, Blossom's mission is to connect new and expecting families with services, resources, and support for a healthy, informed, and confident pregnancy, as well as the parenting journey beyond.
Right. And so our clients probably know that at Blossom there are childbirth preparation education classes, prenatal and other types of yoga classes, as well as support groups. But you'll see today that when Marti read our mission statement that we're focusing on the parenting journey. And so let me state the obvious, if I may, that parenting only starts once you have your baby. And if I could see people turning in, they're all nodding their heads, because what we do is, our babies become toddlers, and those become young children. And so what we actually do as parents is we raise adults. And so through the journey of parenthood that actually, spans years, we ourselves as parents, mothers, and women, we also grow. And Blossom asked Marti to lead a workshop about menopause because a dear friend of mine suddenly found herself in menopause while she was raising her two young children. Her cycle became irregular, and she thought maybe it was just stress. Her doctor said, though, that if she could be approaching perimenopause, and so if you haven't menstruated for a year, then you are in that phase. And my friend found it hard to believe because she was only 40. So she was busy with her job, and she bought a home. Her kids are now in school. And then at one appointment, a couple of years later, her doctor informed her that she was in menopause. And I remember that my friend confided to me that her reply was just, wow, that's sad. After her appointment, I guess she said she actually cried because she didn't really understand what this meant. How did the years go by so fast? And I remember her telling me that she felt really unprepared. And although she didn't intend to have more children, the reality that she could no longer do that was really shocking to her. And she didn't really have anyone to talk to. So I'm wondering, Marti, is this a very common thing that my friend is experiencing?
It's becoming more common. So, we've actually entered into this new era of education and supportive resources
Right,
for women who are experiencing perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause at any age.
right.
So this is a whole new conversation that there's a lot of variables now coming to the forefront. So here we are.
And here we are, right? And so could you tell us, Marti, like what is the main objective of the menopause workshop that you'll be hosting?
Yeah. So I'm just taking a deep breath because, in communicating the objective,
Mhm.
it's the whole intent, right? So it rests in this statement. If we don't know our options, we have none.
Right.
And I know that Blossom Birth and Family holds that dearly. And that's where we're partnering up because my whole life is based on that. If I don't know my options, okay, I'm stuck.
Right. And
That,
so that's
yeah,
what we,
that's the basis.
right. And we do indeed connect people with education. And could you maybe touch on the mindfulness aspect a little bit more?
Yeah, and thank you for asking that because this whole workshop series is based on women learning a mindfulness practice as they lean into the symptoms, the experiences, the circumstances associated with these rites of passage. So the whole workshop series is based on practice.
I see. And so, for our viewers, could you maybe tell us what inspired or motivated you to share your knowledge of mindfulness practice with others who are entering these phases of life?
Absolutely. And I'm giggling inside because before this interview started, I thought, oh no, I'm having a hot flash. Bad timing.
Great timing. It's perfect timing.
But but I also leaned into it. And the reason I'm sharing this moment with you is the practice of breath, right? Taking a deep breath is an example of, I just saw you take a deep breath,
I did.
is an example of implementing a mindfulness practice for whatever shows up. I just had a hot flash and now I'm on the other side of it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's really forthcoming of you to share your own experience because a few of my friends or their moms, their sisters, um, they might have mentioned in passing like how they entered menopause after what I'll call like impactful events. A couple of examples would be like some cancer treatments or surgery that required a hysterectomy and other conditions. Is that something different?
It's different, but once again, it's coming right to the forefront in terms of there's a term called induced menopause.
I see.
And so more women are going through these experiences as they heal and live with cancer and going through chemotherapy and radiation. And then menopause comes into
Right.
the life experience.
Right.
Another example is hysterectomies um, that can happen at any age.
Right.
So,
And right. And you're not a clinician, right, Marty?
correct. I am not a clinician. I'm a coach and I'm a mentor to help women resource for themselves.
I think that's great because I also just want to say that, even if we do have a mother or another female family member, for whatever reason, we might not even be comfortable broaching the subject in too much detail with that person, and vice versa. They might not feel comfortable sharing that with us, so that you would bring your mentoring ability, I think, is very important. So, having said what we just did, who would you encourage to attend this workshop?
So the invitation is extended to women who have not experienced their menstrual cycle between 9 and 12 months, and they've had a conversation with their healthcare provider. Um, and so they're pretty confident that okay, I'm in the portal. I'm going through the portal.
Okay, but it has nothing to do with age necessarily.
No, it is not age related.
Right. Okay. And so for our viewers again, this workshop is actually a 5 week Sunday series of 1 hour each. It starts on October the 4th, runs through November the 1st. And could you explain how that 5 week series works, Marty?
Yeah, absolutely. So I designed it so the information is digestible. And in that design, what I did is I thought it'd be very valuable to do one practice per week based on a theme.
I see.
May I share those themes with
Yeah, sure. So what would like the first week involve, for
you? Okay,
example?
thank you. So the first week would be anxiety, depression, overwhelm.
Mhm.
The second week will be the topic of hot flashes.
Right.
The third week will be pelvic instability and incontinence.
See.
The next week will be sexual health challenges.
Right.
And the fifth week will be associated with weight gain. And there's this term that came into my life that I'm also going to address in the practice, and that's known as the menopause midriff.
I see.
And we're going to demystify that.
I think that would be particularly helpful. I think we just assume that this happens to all of us, and a lot of us, I'm sure, are not aware of what we can do to help with that and how to move beyond.
Yeah.
So, just in the format of the workshop that you'll be leading, should women need to take like notes?
So the aspect of journaling as women are in the workshop, and not just journaling, but art, bringing in colored pencils, crayons, a big sheet of paper, because all sorts of things surface as we're in the mindfulness practice. So I'm going to support women, being expressed in the moment.
Right, I see. And I think the journal will be helpful, especially for anyone who might already use that as a technique to deal with anxiety or anything else that they use as a way to become calm.
Yeah.
And I really love how you're devoting one week to one or more subjects and themes, because I think the topics themselves will have a lot of discussion around them, and it's nice that you're breaking it down so students won't feel overwhelmed by all this invaluable information that you'll be sharing. And so, for anyone out there who's thinking of registering for this workshop, what would you say that they should expect to take away?
So there's very distinct takeaways that I can only wish for,
Okay.
quite honestly, because each person is going to have such a unique experience. And in saying that, some takeaways will be having more confidence with resources that have been shared with all of us in the group, friendships that have come to be because of us getting together,
Right.
and more than anything, acceptance that each one of us has a very, very unique journey of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause.
Right. And so, really, what you'll be doing is help create a small community for the students who will be signing up.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I want to highlight something that you said. It is a small group. And so, just to clarify for people watching in, that we are going to limit this menopause workshop to 12 students. And I think that's to maintain the intimate environment. Is that right, Marty?
Intimacy, but also safety. I'm making it, I wanted to make it clear that we're not going to record these sessions. And I'm also going to suggest that we create a comfortable, safe space virtually, but each woman also create that space in their home or in the room that they're going to inhabit when they're taking the workshop.
Right, right. And I remember when we spoke before this interview that I thought it was really thoughtful that you're intending to give every woman who takes this series the opportunity to share each time that you convene.
Yeah, it's called the power of storytelling.
Right,
And women deserve to tell their story,
right,
and we need to listen.
right. And I think for some, it'll be easier to listen at the beginning. And so then you know that you're among company. And I just wanted to let you know, Marty, that before we started today, I checked our registrations, and we already have 3 people signed up, which I think is great. That leaves us only 9 more spaces, and we do think that this workshop will fill up pretty quickly. So I hope that makes you really happy.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
Yeah. And the good news for those of you watching today is that if you sign up before the end of the day tomorrow, on the 23rd, you'll receive an early bird discount of $27. So if you sign up before the end of the day tomorrow, it's $153 for this 5 sessions, which I think is an excellent, excellent price. And if you wait until the 24th or beyond, it's $170 again, still. an excellent price for what you will be obtaining through this. Um, One little note is that starting October the 2nd, in the unlikely event that there might be a couple spaces still remaining, then Blossom might open up the ability to purchase just 1 week in the session, within thinking in mind of anybody who didn't know about it and then wants to join in later. And Marty said that would be possible. So we'll see how the registrations go for the next little while. Any thoughts on that, Marty?
Yeah, I have a thought that has to do with the gift from the heart.
Hmm.
So anyone watching this interview, if someone's coming to mind that you're thinking, wow, I know someone that I could gift this to, what a lovely gift to give someone. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so, for those of you watching, just a reminder, the series is 5 consecutive Sundays, October the 4th through November the 1st. It will be from 3 to 4 p.m., so only 1 hour each, which is fantastic. And it's Pacific Standard Time. Um, if there is a silver lining about all the virtual learning that we're doing, that there are no geographical boundaries to this. So you can take this class no matter where you live, right? And before COVID, this is a class we would have asked Marty to teach in our office in Palo Alto. But she's really graciously putting on this series virtually, like all of our services that are virtual, to keep everyone safe. But at the same time, we still really need this information. In our comments, you'll probably find now a link, or soon you'll find a link on how to register for this class. When you click that link that takes you to the Menopause Workshop information, you'll see a list of the subjects that Marty discussed in case you want to go back and refresh what those will be. And to remind you also that Marty has so nicely offered to accept any questions and comments that you may have. So her email again is Marti with an I, C Foster at yahoo.com. And I think in closing, I want to add a few things for our viewers who are in perimenopause or menopause or know someone who is. The most important thing is to know like you're not alone. And thanks to Marty's knowledge and her partnership with Blossom, together we are here as always to support women and mothers. I also want to acknowledge that the pandemic itself has, drastically changed the way that we live right now. Um, that and other personal stressors, whether they're from the pandemic, a job loss, other events happening in the world today, and there are so many of them. We acknowledge that this can add a lot of emotional challenges for people and for women who may also be mothers, and at the same time, you know, experiencing these life stages like menopause that are in and of themselves very emotionally based. So Marty is offering this workshop to offer this safe space for women to come together, to create community, to learn how we can adapt. And as we mentioned earlier, the parenting journey, it spans all stages of our lifetime. Any comments on that, Marty?
Yeah, I would like to add, this is more of a wish. May we all lean into the capacity of being bridge builders,
Right.
especially during these challenging times. And what I mean by that is bridge builders of people. Wow, this is
And
making me emotional, for people.
right.
And wow, we just need to do this and let especially women in this context know we're here for you.
Right. We are.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of bring this full circle today because if people are aware of what Blossom does, people might be thinking, oh, there's people with babies and toddlers. I'm beyond that stage. But, you know, parenthood continues, right? And with that, moms, we and women, whether you're not even a mother, like we need support, and especially now, right? And I just wanted to add finally that I only met Marty last week, and as soon as I met her, we had a really good connection, and she's very easy to speak with, and she's very open, she's very honest, and I appreciate the vulnerability that she can share, just like now, to share even a bit about her own personal experience through menopause. And it's just, it's wonderful that you're partnering with Blossom. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Well, if there isn't the truth, what's left,
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And there's a lot of emotions, and they're not bad. They just are, right? And we'll all experience them. So, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
So welcome.
And I can't wait to talk to you again. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.